Okay. Let's fucking do this.
You are God. Put yourself in that hypothetical scenario. Close your eyes, and there's nothing there. You have no arms, you have no legs, you have no voice, you have no words, you have no nothing. You're just a emptiness in a void that wakes up one day and says, hey, I'm here. What am I? Where am I? And you're God's consciousness. And there's nothing there, nothing to compare it to. So it's empty. You're like, I'm nothing. I'm zero. I'm empty. I'm void. I have nothing here. But so that's what I'm saying is zero, and there's nothing there except for the consciousness of God before Genesis. And in that moment, God wakes up one day, I should say, or one moment, because days don't exist yet, nor do nights. One moment he realizes, wait a second, if all I have is nothing, and nothing is all I am, then nothing is also simultaneously everything, because everything that exists is nothing. So everything is nothing, and nothing is everything, and that's how you get one from zero. That is how you get something from nothing. The geometry comes from the motion around the zero, because God has to move around himself. God moves on the waters. God has to move around himself. In order to do that, he has to move a piece of himself out of the way so he can move back into that space. He has to do that in some form and fashion. How does he do that? He finally figures out by twisting himself. The Fibonacci spiral, not the Fibonacci straight line, it's a Fibonacci spiral. Everything in life, all the energy moves in that same spiral, and that is the path that God took to move around himself in the zero to create the motion. So God was able to move on the waters. So, but through the geometry, he was able to move around himself, creating the vortex. And that's the two opposite poles of the magnetic field chasing themselves, trying to reconnect. But you have, at least in my understanding of it, I'll say. But in the original math, like I said, God had to find a way to move around, and that's where pi and phi come in handy. He learned how to split the line of a two-dimensional circle in half with pi, and then with phi he learned how to wrap himself around himself, creating motion infinitely in both directions, in the decimal and in the whole number. So as small as you go,
well, maybe he already
goes,
knew how to move himself.
No, he didn't at first.
Maybe he already knew.
That's what I'm saying. This is intelligent design. The geometry showed me finally that there is indeed intelligent design in the universe.
Okay.
There's totally intelligent design.
Okay, so from zero, how do you go to the rest of it?
It moves in a vortex. It moves in a circle around itself. The numbers do that automatically.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's in the Fibonacci sequence. It's also, not only does it have the math that perfectly wraps around itself in both directions, but it also is entwined both this way and this way with the DNA doubling code for your human DNA.
Okay, so
and
what's
that's
the
in
codes?
the same
Okay,
Fibonacci
let's just go
sequence
to
code.
the codes around the zero.
The codes are
Tell us what
that's
it
the
is.
path of the path of least resistance.
Okay, so what are those numbers in a numerical formula?
1,
What
2,
are
4,
those?
8, 7, 5.
1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5.
1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5.
And that goes in a
That's your DNA, and it's also embedded in the Fibonacci sequence.
So that's what you're saying, that's an explanation for creation.
Yeah, that's the material world. Everything in the material world is the Fibonacci sequence. That's what I'm saying. That's why the flowers, everything, the leaves grow.
Every
plants,
living thing.
every living thing, yes, and with DNA, responds to this mathematics. That's what I mean. It convinced me there's definitely intelligent design. But like I said, you got to dig to find that. It's not
and with that,
an easy
it
find.
convince you that there's a God.
Absolutely, yes,
Okay.
absolutely,
All right.
yeah.
Wasn't Jesus fucking homeless? I don't know. Wasn't he? Like, I'm not, like, mad. I'm just saying, like, wasn't he fucking homeless? I don't know. Like, I feel like there's sort of a, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really quite fucking speechless. My car got stolen. Yeah. How long have you been doing window repair?
Going on almost 2 years.
Okay, nice.
I worked with Safe Light before, and then just recently started with
Yeah. Okay.
companies. I had to go part-time since I'm going to school.
Oh, nice. Where do you go to school?
It's Texas State.
Oh, word. Yeah. You know, it is what it is. The police found it, and in the process, they broke the back window to get in. So that's how the window got broken. And she had heat exhaustion one night, and I let her spend the night to shower. And the next morning, she just took my keys and left. So very dumb of me. Very
It's unfortunate, man.
bad lapse in judgment, I guess. I feel really stupid, but it's really weird. You want to help people, then they bite you in the butt, right? And I think that's a little bit why I'm drawn towards Christianity or something. I don't know. I feel like I need a moral compass or some kind of like moral handbook. I don't know if that, and I don't know if that you can give me that, but I'm trying it out.
Yeah, it's getting super weird, man. And now people are dying. Like, when do you stop? Clearly, this place is like falling to like
Darkness.
darkness. Yeah, and when people start dying, like, isn't that sort of like a hint, you know, that
Yeah.
things aren't going great, you know?
God doesn't make these rules because he's mean and cranky and like he's like arbitrary. He makes these rules because like these behaviors lead to your destruction. Inevitably, not maybe, not possible. You might have a long road if you're lucky, but you're gonna meet an unpleasant end. Yeah, man is inherently flawed, right? So it's funny when people think I think this or I believe this or I'm okay with this sin that people do, and it's like, who the hell are you? You know, and it's funny because people think like I'm just like, I guess, antisocial or judgmental, and it's like you could say that, but it's like, I'm gonna believe the guy who created the world and life and the universe over some ant on a hill who thinks he knows better than God, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's like the fact that people even tell me this stuff is ridiculous to me. I'm like, okay, that's what you think. Like, why are we? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, people are always like, oh, I think it's okay to do this. And I'm like, well, you're wrong, number one. And two, like, who the hell are you to think, you know what I mean? Like, you know better than God? Like, why are we even talking? Like, oh, my mom died. I told you.
Yeah, you told me that. I'm sorry. That sucks.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that, yeah.
It sucks worse where she's going, but...
Really?
It's sad, right? It's funny, because, like, Barry's trying to be like, I hope she goes to heaven, and, like, all this stuff, and I'm like... I'm kind of at an age, I'm like, do we have to lie? Like, it doesn't make me love her any less. Like, I was super close to my mom. Like, I'm not even bad-mouthing her, right? Like, we were super close. Like, for most of my upbringing, she was an only mom, and, like, she's all I had. So we were, like, super close. I adore her, She's funny as hell. She's a blast to hang out with. But she's most certainly going to hell. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah,
Right? I mean, if the book that I'm reading is true, right, which I believe that it is, I mean...
That's fair.
But I should tell him, like, he mentioned it, and I kind of, like, went silent on the phone. He's like, oh, she's in heaven so we can be together. And I'll be like, what I should have said, because I like my stepdad, too, and I try to be truthful with him, is like, I don't think she's going to heaven, but I do think he'll be together.
So basically, in 2014, I was in and out of jail. I was fresh out of school. I wasn't studying none of shit. I wasn't studying no Hitler Marcus.
You play Call of Duty, right?
Hell yeah, I play Call of Duty, Sims 4. I'm like a normal...
Sims 4?
You a photographer?
I do video and kind of stuff. I'm doing a doc, but I don't know if there's anything that's going to make it in it. I actually spoke to a cannibal warlord. That sounds weird, but in Africa, it's about that. That's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little something to do.
Yeah.
You have the shell.
Huh?
here.
We're going under the coffee shop. We're filming a doc. Is that cool? This is
No, you gotta get out of there. That's private property.
I thought this is public property.
Come on up, you want to talk.
You know, and like they're not like bad people in the sense of like secular, you know, justice. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they're involved in like city stuff. They're like, you know, they're Democrats basically. Which
How long have you been going to this church?
this one,
Yeah.
you know, I say 2 years, but I think it's been like 4 now.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm losing track of time.
Huh.
You know, it's nice to like have a time where I'm with people who are all on the same page.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a military man. Like it's nice to be around people who are on the same side as you. Right? And like,
Yeah.
so what was my point?
Huh. Interesting. That's interesting.
So to answer, what was your question? You know, if you're saying like Obama's new internet ID is like the mark of the beast, maybe it is, but I don't know that. You know, if
Yeah.
God wanted me to know, He would tell me. So to me, it's conjecture.
Yeah, I
right?
see.
And I think people get wrapped up in that stuff, and it's like you fall away from what the gospel is.
Yeah,
which is
understand.
we're all sinners and Jesus saved us, and you know, unless you believe that you know He's the Lord and that He was resurrected by His Father, you're going to burn in hell. So I think wasting your time with all this extracurricular like Christianity. And I'm not saying that it makes you a non-believer, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's dangerous. And it's dangerous for the outside, because maybe you're a believer and you like to, like, you know, have this conjecture, but people on the outside see that and they get sucked into that and not the gospel.
Huh.
You know, and they start going, oh, end times, and, you know, end of days.
Yeah, I'm doing a documentary about
Yeah.
a warlord who came to like faith or whatever and had a. And
That you know?
And so as a priest of the tribe, I serve the entire tribe. A member of my tribe, in person of Master Sergeant Samuel Kayando, was the president of the country. And so when the war came, I have to come to protect him as a president. That's how I became to fight. And so we captured an entire barrack in central Monrovia where we made our base and fought against Mr. Charles Taylor and his troop. But in that same war, 1996, on the 30th of September, I gave my life to Jesus. I was on the front line and I came in contact. I had an epiphany. An epiphany with the Lord Jesus Christ. And I surrendered my life to Him. And from that 96 up to now, I have not gone back to violence. I became an evangelical preacher. And so I came back and told the truth about my involvement with the war. Among more than 700 perpetrators, I was the first to be recommended for amnesty. And when they recommended that amnesty for me, unconditional amnesty, I thought the kindness was so much. That's how I decided that I would sentence myself to this community service that I am involved with but now. So that's my story so far.
Even though you were off this ride, because we're trying to get this area cleared up, because Thomas and his two neighbors are very upset with all the things that have been happening over there, including the death that just happened.
Thomas came back here and said as long as we clean it up and stuff.
Well,
we can
guess
be
what?
back here.
Guess what? Until he calls us and physically rescinds it, you are trespassing.
That's the real version of the law, and I
That
really
is.
don't feel. I'm happy you're recording. I really.
That
don't
is
feel
absolutely the
I
law.
really don't feel comfortable right now.
They tore down the camp, and I don't know, a lot of those people just dispersed, went elsewhere, which I don't know what the fuck that does. When I was going through my graffiti tagging phase, which was a few months ago, there was a Bible verse, I think. Bible verse that I would write, like tag. sometimes. And it was basically like, for you always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. And I think, yeah, it's fucking true. There was this this man, we were talking, and I always thought he was pretty crazy. He talks to himself, I think. When he walked up to the coffee shop, he was in a blistering schizophrenic rant, which he's schizophrenic, he's crazy, he's homeless. But when I spoke to him, he was so sweet, so fucking sweet, so nice. With the real warlord, I think.
Who's the real? Oh yeah.
Because he's like crazy. He's a cannibal warlord too.
He's a cannibal?
Yeah. Well, he used to be.
Yeah. Like hearts? Or like actually, he didn't eat people. He just like ate the heart for like
yeah.
an hour or whatever. Yeah, those Africans are wacky.
Yeah.
Did he snort the brown?
No. What's that?
Oh, you don't know about that?
No.
So in order to like get child soldiers and like, they would give them this mix of, apparently, we're in the kids section here.
Morning, kids.
Hey, how are you? It was cocaine and gunpowder mixed together. So they would mix those two things together. And apparently, the cocaine gets you like...
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know. I think it's awful to believe. Like I don't know. Like to me, that's like... I mean, it's murder, right? Like you're basically espousing murder. Like to me, it's a very sinister belief.
Well, I was thinking, because
it's not like I think smoking weed is okay, right? Like it's like I think it's okay to murder babies.
Yeah.
Like that's really sick, right?
Yeah. I should ask the Joshua Bly guy what his opinion was on abortion.
Who's Joshua Bly?
The guy who killed like 1,500 children for warlord.
If he believes in abortion, I don't think Africans would, honestly. I don't think they think it's wrong.
He seems very conservative now.
He probably doesn't care though. You know what I mean?
He was so...
Like he probably wouldn't be pro-abortion, but he probably doesn't care.
From the age of 7 to 11.
I was trained in the forest. I was blindfolded every day. Only in the night, they removed the blindfolds from my eyes. And in that blindfold, I was trained to trust blades, Swiss blades, traditional Swiss blades, through the back of animals and trust out their hearts uniquely. So I did that for 4 years.
Animals and shit.
Like with a gun?
With a machete.
Yeah, trying to curse too much in church. Though.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I do it too.
No, I get that. It's the nervous tick.
Yeah. But really, with a knife.
With like a machete.
A monkey.
Or in like a squirrel, anything like that.
Yeah, it's whatever.
But he used to practice like taking
Monkeys
out the
suck.
heart.
Have you ever met a monkey? They're jerks.
I was like giving protection spells. I was giving charms and giving the blessings.
Could you go into the blessings? I know you already did a little bit, but could you... Oh wait, he disconnected.
It was easier to manifest the witchcraft when I was naked. When it's just declarations, it's just spilling blood, putting blood in the water and springing it out over someone and saying positive words to them.
But it would give them the confidence to fight, correct?
Yeah, we give them the confidence to fight. We give them the confidence for anything. Even for them to do farm, they needed the blessing. For them to cultivate their farms, they needed the blessing. For them to harvest, they needed the blessing. Well, I was born to be the priest to my tribe. I am from the Crown tribe, and the Crown tribe is a kind of a warring tribe. And we believe in spirituality, believe in witchcraft, hunting, farming, and all of this. So we are known to be warriors.
Yeah, so I still have the fucking bike. And she left me that threatening letter or note. It's on the back of a P. Terry's receipt. So I guess it's just a fucking note. Maybe a letter. It doesn't matter. And you try to do good, right? And then shit like that happens. Shit like that happens. And it sucks. I was really depressed. Like, I could make light of it now, but I was really fucking depressed when my car got stolen. To be fair, I shouldn't have let her inside my house. I should not. But in the moment, it felt like the right thing to do. And that's why I'm like, well, maybe I should go to church and try to figure out my moral compass, you know? I don't know. Part of me feels like it's just a scam, though. Which, that's terrible to admit. I know we don't have the logistical strength to rally up all the churches, all the do-gooders, and cure homelessness. That's terrible to say cure. But I'm gonna say it, fuck it. To cure homelessness. But it makes you think, like, I got a free fucking meal. A free goddamn meal. And 2 books. 1 softback, 1 paperback. For people to try to convert me to fucking God at this one church. Like, think about the resources that we could use for homeless people. I don't know. What the fuck? I don't know. What the fuck?
When my father kept me until I was 7 years, because that was the plan. He's supposed to present me as a replacement. So he kept me until I was 7 years, and he turned me over to the elders.
I see.
So the elders trained me for 4 years. I was in the wood. Besides the traditional warriors and the elders, I made no contact with no regular person, nor my father, nor my mother. Even though my father prepared me from the time I was 4 years to the time I was 7 years. Every good thing. My father gave me gifts every day and made me to believe it was the deity who sent it to me. When he bought me Kelly, he bought me biscuits, he bought me slippers. Whatever he gave me, he told me it was the deity who gave me the instruction. So when I was 7 years of age, I was eager to meet this deity. And so when he told me he was taking me to the deity, he took me to the interior, way in the forest, 12 midnight, and turned me over to these warriors who had tattoos all over their body, chalk all over their faces, and was huge and musculous. But I had no fear, because like the Bible says, greater love covers fear. And so I went with them, and they took me far in the woods, where I spent 4 years intensive training.
It was like a thatched roof, like bungalow,
Yeah.
like the jungle. And they would come in and like steal your stuff. I don't like monkeys.
The devil, the demon, the deity made me to realize that every human being belonged to him. And so he requested sacrifices from the tribe, and the tribe will submit those sacrifices that happen to be innocent children. And I will sacrifice those children by taking off their heart, draining their blood for ritualistic and witchcraft practices. And then I will spill good luck on anyone who came to seek the deity counsel or advice in whatever they wanted to do.
I don't like rabbits either, because I'm a gardener, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like rabbits.
Where do you garden?
In my yard.
Just like anything? Like, do you have
I don't have a garden now, but like for many years I had like
yeah.
4 full like squares of like, you know, peppers, tomatoes, basil, cilantro, cucumbers. I did like gourds, stuff like that. Like everything, you know. In the winter, I do like spinach.
Dang. Is it a pretty musical stuff, like service?
Very.
Okay,
I usually
cool.
come late.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't get into it. It's not like Christian rock or anything. You won't be like, it's
Yeah.
not awful. Like that's another thing. My last church was like, it was trying to be too cool. You know, this church. Is
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're talking about.
And it's like, nah, trying to be cool doesn't make you cool. You know?
Yeah.
Like you either are or you're not.
Word.
Christian rock is not cool. Like there's nothing cool about it. You know. The guy from King of the Hill said it best. He's like, Christian rock doesn't make Jesus cooler. It makes rock and roll worse. I remember that line from King of the Hill. I was like, Hank Hill.
Oh.
And get their lives back. So that is my present focus. children in the street on drugs. That's why I decided to work in this line and take them, help them to get back their lives. I have 580 success stories.
Really?
Male and female. Yes.
Are those all people in your mission? How does that work?
No, I do a batch. I do 18 months in batch. So some batch run 50 people. The batch presently is about 103 now that I'm running this batch.
And what do you do in the
Now, I'm on a nav batch now.
what do you do in the batches?
I help detox them. I take them through deliverance. I give them some basic skills, trainings. And then they graduates.
What kind of skills do you give them?
I give them carpentry, I give them masonry, I give them air conditioners. They can be working by themselves. That's how they are successful.
So, what would you say to like your haters, if you had any? Do you have anything to say to them at all?
Well, I really don't have things to say about people who hate me because their purpose for hating me is justified. And they do not understand what Christianity is, what Jesus' life has done for me. They have not accepted it. And so I don't blame them. And so for what I have done, there are people who believe that I should be hanged, and they are right for it. There are people who believe I should be in prison, and they are right for it. I told her my name was Joshua Milton Klein, and she said, which one? General Republican. And I said, yes, and she said, she cut off her phone, and when I tried to make Porter Butch to talk to her, she said she hoped I would die and burn in hell. And I understood. Well, I did not know first why she was cutting off the phone. When she told me that, I knew that maybe I have done something to her directly. And I was able to pursue her over the years. But her son today is revived.
You know, I think there's a lot that can be said. Okay, well, first off, I didn't fucking eat anyone. I didn't eat anyone. Okay, these people at church didn't eat anyone. Joshua ate people. So maybe, just maybe, he has to do this, you know? Like, it's his moral duty now. But he is reforming people who are abusing drugs, addicted to drugs, and teaching them skills and crafts that they can most likely use for themselves, for their families. And that to me seems good, if you just put it out on paper, excluding the backstory of the person who's doing the good. I don't know. Like, it's just interesting, you know? It gives me hope. I don't know if it gives everyone hope. And this is weird. I don't know why I'm doing this weird narration. I didn't want to do a narration, honestly. I felt like it wouldn't be honest. I just wanted to react to the video that I have right now and just be honest. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can post this without me talking to y'all. And I don't know what this becomes. It feels like it's more of a fucking vlog now. But it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna leave with I don't know. I didn't eat anyone. Fuck it. I'm done. Yeah. Thank you, Joshua. Bye.
Well, my name is Joshua Milton Blake. I was an ex-general general, ex-warlord, and turned evangelical preacher, 1996.
I mean, I love God. And it makes me honestly fucking love God. It makes me love life, love my girlfriend, love my family, love my dog. It makes me love life. It makes me have hope for the future that if someone who seemingly killed 1,500 children then became a warlord, or around, like, through that all came a warlord, became a warlord, but now is doing actively good, like, there has to be hope, there has to be something. It can't be like this forever. Yeah.